What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode 19. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Josh, fantastic. I have a question for you, and then I need your advice on something.
Okay, I'm ready to answer, and then poke my nose into your business. Let's do it.
Would you like to advise me first, or answer a question first?
Question first.
So, as we were just talking, it's very snowy outside, and as someone that is a big barefoot person, if I need to run to the mailbox, if I need to go out to my car for something, I will, like a wild man, like a nature survivor man type fellow, I will run outside in the snow in my bare feet. Go to the mailbox, go to the car, do whatever I got to do.
So even in the snow, like I get cold, but like it's active snow outside, you'll still do it barefoot?
Yeah, I stomped like today twice. I stomped through the snow barefoot, like once to run to the mailbox and one to run out to the car.
That's dedication.
I'm like, it won't be that bad. I'll get back inside, my feet will warm up. It's no big deal. So I was thinking about it, and then I was like, when people do those crazy polar bear plunge things, where like, if you don't know what polar bear plunge is, it's usually like January or February, and a bunch of crazy people all get in bathing suits and like jump in the ocean, jump in a lake where
sometimes they literally like cut a hole in a body of water, like a frozen pond or something. Yeah. And then all like get in the hole like it's a hot tub or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, I wonder through all my years of training of barefooting the snow, if I could like polar, that's a whole hard phrase to say. If I could polar bear plunge myself, and I feel like the panic would set in differently of hitting like ice cold water and not just like running through the snow like an idiot. So I wanted to know if you thought you could polar bear plunge, or how you feel about these icy survivor man conditions I'm training for.
Absolutely, unequivocally, without any doubt, know that I could not do a polar bear plunge. Just the sheer idea of it makes me want to die. One thing I hate the most in life lately is being cold. I don't know what happened, but like I will say in the past year or so, like I feel like I'm way more susceptible to the cold. And maybe it's just that I'm forced out into it more than I used to be when I was like younger. But like I have to take my kid to the bus stop in the morning, which is like outside of our house just across the street. But obviously it's super freaking cold. So like when I go out to the bus stop now in the mornings when it's this cold, I'm wearing like a crew neck, a heated vest, a jacket on over top of that, a winter coat on over top of that, gloves, usually a hat that with then the hood up on my coat, and then also I bring out hand warmers at the same time. So I am like the most like decked out warm person that could exist at the bus stop. And I get out there, and again, mind you, heated vest and hand warmers, I'm still cold when we get out there. Even in the house here, like I always have a sweatshirt and shoes on when I'm in the house, and shoes in the house are not my preference. I'm usually a barefoot guy too, but just to keep warm, I'm wearing shoes in the house. When I'm sitting at my computer, oftentimes, I'll say about 80% of the time, I'm wearing a full body heated Snuggie to stay warm. So I don't do well with the cold. So a polar bear plunge is the last thing that I would ever want to do, ever.
I was reflecting about it today, and I don't know, because so in spite of me saying I'll run out in my bare feet, I actually like despise the cold. At least in the house, I can moderate. I'm not fully bundled up as you, but if we're actually like going outside somewhere to go do an event that involves me walking outside, standing outside, whatever, I'm doing gloves, 3-4 layers. I used to have a heated vest and a heated coat. That was a toss up. I have heated gloves because I feel like my hands get too cold all the time. When I was younger, way younger, I think I indirectly polar bear plunged in a river. It's like before I knew it was a thing. Like me and my friends thought it'd be funny to do the rope swing into the river in like January or February. And I swear from that day, I gave myself frostbite in my hands that day. And ever since then, my hands are extra like sensitive to temperature. So when it's cold, they get like extra cold, more so than like the hot direction.
You you
So
you
like,
you basically killed your hands. Yeah, it
I
sounds
guess
like
so.
it. Yeah, just fried them a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but so like all any sort of cold whatsoever, I fucking despise it. But I will run outside and like today when I had to run out to the car, I had a hoodie on, gym shorts on, and I was like, I'm just gonna go out my bare feet. And I ran outside like that in the snow to go in my car to get something, and then came back inside and was fine. But I hate the cold, so I'm in a weird like impasse of could I do it or not? Because I feel like if I had to think and if I had to stand and think about it too long, I'd probably puss out. But if I could just like go, if they're like, we're dropping you off, don't think, just go. I could probably do it and then think it was cool afterwards.
Could you let's reframe it a little bit. Could you do a cold plunge? So like we just did one of those like really cold, like in your backyard things, and you just had to like dip yourself in for a few minutes.
I, d-
That's like
I
essentially the same thing, but I feel like mentally that's like a little bit easier to overcome for some reason.
I feel like I need, no matter what it's gonna be, I don't like easing into the stuff. I need
Oh,
to
I
just
know.
go or not go. Like
Yeah,
I'm
same.
not one of those people. Even if I like if the pool's cold, you dip your toe in, like it's ice cold. Some people go, oh, well, just ease yourself in. It's not that bad. I would rather just brute force it and then just dive in, jump in, whatever, and just
Shock the
do it.
system. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I guess in the pool I do ease in because I think the shock the system version is too much for me. I have to take it slow. um yeah, it's so not for me. I'm not you're going to be your polar but put your polar plunge buddy.
You can videotape it if I ever do it.
I
If I
will.
die.
Yeah, that sounds great.
You can bring your heated snuggie. You'll be in 7 layers. You can clap with gloves on, and as long as you hit record, we're good.
That'd be so great. Me giving you like a pep talk about how you can totally do it, but I'm wearing a heated vest and 8 layers.
Toby, it's like summer in here. I'm sweating.
Yeah, I don't see what the big deal is. I'm hot.
Yeah, but I don't know what you're all crying about. Why everyone's so cold?
All right.
So
And then
now
advice. Yeah, we have advice now.
the important advice. So this is much like when I go to a concert and I have to reflect upon the right shirt to wear for the occasion. Tomorrow, which will be like 3 days ago for when people listen to this conversation, I am going to watch NBA game, and my buddy is taking me, and we're sitting basically courtside. I think it's like 2 or 3 rows back.
That's so cool.
But from that angle, I think it's behind the benches. I didn't double check, but now I had the thought in my head. I feel like I'm gonna be on TV.
Yeah, if you're behind the benches, you're okay. You're on hard cam
Oh yeah,
side then. Yeah.
oh yeah, or like to use the wrestling term, hard cam, yes, or like
Well,
yes, I worked
that's
for
all
all
I know.
media.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the term is in basketball.
Or like okay, or so like years and years and years ago, I went to watch SmackDown live,
Uh-huh.
and I was on hard cam for that. So
Yep.
I had to reflect upon the proper shirt, and I wore a Hulkamania shirt way before that was a questionable attire choice.
We didn't know. We did. Sorry, people. We didn't
We
know.
didn't know. So my buddy was like, I'm basically like a generic sports person, but not like a sports person.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I already feel honored that my friend is taking me because there's way better options of people that would like love going to see the Sixers versus me. But I told him I would embarrass him on camera if we were on camera. But as a follow up to that, I'm now doing not so much to embarrass him or not. In my brain, I'm like, most of my clothes are just like band shirts or band sweatshirts. And
Yeah.
I'm doing the hard mental gymnastics now of what band or what do I need to represent on camera just in case I'm on camera.
Ooh,
So I'm
yeah.
here for any suggestions of what is either funny and not like offensive funny, or like how do I judge what is the proper attire for such an occasion?
So my mind first went to like obviously you probably don't have a Sixers shirt, but
Absolutely not.
I would and I wouldn't either. Obviously, like I don't have a Pacers shirt, but I would consider if I was going to a Pacers game to wear Pacers colors. Like I would maybe find a blue shirt or something that had some yellow in it. So that way when the camera is panning over me, I don't stick out like a sore thumb because most people are going to be in team colors. I would think about that.
Okay, so like I guess the opposite of that, I think in my heart of hearts, I want to wear a fun shirt because I want to be noticed. And then like if it's a band I really like,
Okay.
people be like, "Oh, who's this idiot in X band shirt?" or however that happens to work out. So I'm riding the fine line of that right now of which direction do I go with it.
Okay. I like that too. I like the intentionally stick out with a shirt that you want people to notice. I trying to think of what my most like offensive shirt would be. I guess yeah, you don't want to get kicked out of the place. Like you know what I mean? Like you wanna not be like overtly offensive and not safe for television.
It's
Um
actually one of the. It's actually he invited me too late. It's actually one of the few times I'm upset we don't have actual merch because at best I can
oh
write
yeah.
on a T-shirt and like with a Sharpie the comment writers, but that I feel like that gets me nowhere. Like that's gonna look beyond absurd, and then my friend's not gonna want to sit next to me anyway.
It
But if we had like merch, like that would be, I think that would be prime to
would be
like
good. It'd be a good
nationally
time.
televised.
This is like when I am in the comment writers clan of only one person in Street Fighter so that all my opponents can see the comment writers whenever I face them. That's the you version of like making your own custom shirt that says comment writers on it. I think if I was going to an event where I knew that I would for sure be on camera, like at this point, I think my mind would be going to, do I have time to order that Brody King abolish ice shirt and get it here in time? That's the message I would want to send the world. Yeah, if you guys don't know, there's a wrestler, Brody King. He's very cool. He sings in a metal band, hardcore band called God's Hate, which is awesome. And he has a shirt. He wore a shirt one time in wrestling that said "Abolish Ice," and then he made merch that is him, like looking all tough, basically, with a shirt that says "Abolish Ice." It's a cool shirt, and it would be a fun shirt to get on camera on an NBA game. Because that's where I want to go. I want to go like a little subversive, right? Like I want to do something that like
I like how you went from like I want to wear
team
the team
colors.
colors to blend in to like the polar opposite of I want to wear a shirt that people absolutely have takes on one way or the other.
Well, but you were talking about like wanting to like a little bit peacock, and if I'm thinking in the mindset of like I want people to notice me, that's where I'm going with it right now. But yeah, I'm of two minds. I could show up to an event like that trying to blend in, or I could show up to an event like that wanting people to notice. I think both are valid options.
So I feel like we
So
got
what's
nowhere.
no, we got nowhere. I think you should just wear a nice Bane hoodie and call it a day.
I think I have two of those. I might wear the classy one. You know what? I think that's gonna be the answer. I'm gonna wear the classy Bane hoodie, do
See,
the ultimate throwback, and then
yeah, I'm
yeah.
glad. I feel like a Bane hoodie is a thing where people like if people saw it and knew what it was, they'd be like, "Oh, he's legit." Like no one. I feel like most bands in the world, some people can look at it and be like, "Oh, that's cool," and some people can look at it and roll their eyes. But with Bane, I don't know that anyone's gonna roll their eyes like that. They're old enough, they've been around long enough, they're cool enough. Like I feel like either you don't know who they are or you're like, hell yeah. Those are the only two options.
So the weirdest gap I ever ran into with that, and then we can stop this. We can stop the ramble and do the other part. Uh, when Dark Knight got popular, like OG Dark Knight 2000 something probably, right? That's when those came out, like the Dark
That
Knight
sounds right.
Returns.
Yeah,
Okay,
that sounds right.
yeah. So back then, so Bane is a very they're a talky hardcore band, is I guess is the best way to put it. So like loud, like drew music, and then the guy just like it's screaming, but not like
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
it's
understand you screaming. It's more like if I was talking as loud as humanly possible right now, like that kind of screaming.
Bane is the platonic ideal of a hardcore band for me because the most of them get too far down the metal path and I'm not into that, and most of them have screams that are completely incomprehensible, but Bane you can actually understand the words without reading the lyrics, and that's key for me.
So like their oldest, most like classic piece of merch is basically it was either a zip up hoodie or a regular hoodie, and it was literally just the four letters of like Bane. But if it was a zip up, it was like BA on one side, NE on the other, and it was just bright blue with bright yellow letters, and that's all it was. Nothing crazy, just literally the four letters, the hoodie, whatever. So when Batman got popular, I was still wearing my OG Bane hoodie all the time because I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And people used to do a lot of Bane question mark in their voice and say yes. And they'd be like, why do you have a hoodie for the Batman guy? And then stare at me. So I still have that fear to this day where if I wear the hoodie, are more people gonna be like, oh, I love Batman and like get in my face that way? or are they going to recognize the musical aspect of the sweatshirt?
I think you definitely have fewer people connecting it to Batman now than you would have like 10 years ago.
Thank God.
Like I think we're past that wave. Like obviously the movies made it very popular and everyone knows Bane now, but I'm sure it's like some percentage less than it would have been back then. Um, but yeah, you're still gonna get that probably most of the time from like normies, unfortunately.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the best option, because my other option was going to be like wear one of my super hardcore hoodies or shirts that have the illegible font, like the metal scribbles, I guess is the best way to put it. I was going to wear one of those. And again, my friend likes sports too much where I don't want to be like the weirdo next to him of like he gets seen on camera in his nice whatever sport outfit he wears, and like he's next to his weird friend with his backwards hat and the weird scribbly shirt kind of thing. And you know,
Okay, I have two final thoughts on this. One, you should wear the Bane hoodie, but then you should write down lines from Bane from the movie and just say them randomly throughout the night. Like oh, you merely adopted sports, but I was born into it. I was forged by sports. Like just come up with a few Bane lines and just sprinkle them in throughout the night and see if anyone makes the connection. I think that would be very fun. Um, Two, my second thought, you should do like those dudes do in wrestling sometimes, where they show up and they like have a costume on, like they're dressed like a clown or like they're cosplaying. Like you should figure out what a good cosplay would be for the Sixers and then show up like that. Like I don't know what,
oh,
maybe you dress like a Harlem Globetrotter. That's what you do. You dress like a Harlem Globetrotter. That's it. We got there.
we got there. I
Because
think
look,
I think you're
you're
on the ideas.
you're representing the sport, right? You're not making fun of it. It's like, hey, the Harlem Globetrotters, they're an iconic, important piece of history here. So
It's sunny for the seasons right now.
exactly, I'm just celebrating the greats. So that's why I'm dressed like a Harlem Globetrotter. I'm certainly not making a mockery of this entire sport.
Oh, and the final warning I was given, because this friend plus some other friends were with me when we used to go to like um like Ring of Honor shows and like big little wrestling shows a bunch of times in Philly.
Uh-huh.
And whenever it was in the ECW building, I always tried to bring back the old vibe, even though it was like 2024 and there's rules now and shit. So the last time we all went to a wrestling thing, I was drunk and throwing oranges at the wrestlers in the ring until the big scary security came over and grabbed me by the shirt and said, "Knock it the fuck off." And I said, "Yes, sir, I'm done now," and sat down. So
Right.
I've been warned by many friends as a joke, but I think a little bit of truth in the warning of like, please don't throw things at the athletes and get thrown out because you'll probably get arrested.
Yeah, they're gonna have even less tolerance for that than they would at a wrestling show. Yeah. Because at least at a wrestling show, sometimes the wrestlers will then get in your face back and it'll be like a bit, but
That's why I threw
yeah,
the oranges at them. They were
yeah.
fucking mouthing off at me. I was in the front row, and I'm not going to take it. I don't care
Don't
if
get
they're bigger than
lippy.
me.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
hit you, I'm gonna hit you with citrus.
yeah.
That's perfect. So let's shift gears over
Speaking
to
of
Kamen
hitting
Rider.
with citrus, we're
Yeah.
not talking about Kamen Rider game, but we are talking about Kamen Rider Zeztz.
I'm shedding a tear from pride over here right now. The fact that
That was
you
the best. That was the best, wasn't it?
it was so good. I feel like I'm responsible for this. Like I've led you into this world and now you're making Kamen Rider Gaim puns. Like this is amazing. What have we done? This is great. Well, how cool.
How fun.
How fun indeed. Very quickly before we move on, I have to tell you, I was leaving my daughter's room, putting her to bed, and I told her that I was gonna come talk to you. And she was like, "What do you and Toby always talk about?" And I'm like, well, a lot of Kamen Rider, and we talk about life and stuff. And she was like, "Do you talk about me?" And I said, "Yeah, sometimes." And she was like, "Are you gonna tell him how good of a reader I am?" So here's me telling you that she's a very good reader. She wanted me to relay that to you.
I respect that as someone who can't read. Like that's even more impressive to me. That part of me is like I'm getting flexed on by a small child, but hey, you know what? I probably deserve that.
Yeah, yeah. She's been working hard at it. She's not 100% there, but she's been working really hard.
Fantastic.
Similarly, we're going to work really hard, and Baku's been working really hard, solving the case here in episode 19. This episode is called Decide. And yeah, this is the follow-up from last week where we met a new agent of code named Kureha. And we really, boy, we hit the ground running here because right at the beginning, we get to hear some information about Kureha and sort of her background. We find out that after graduation, she cut ties with everyone in her life to join Code. However, during a mission, Code blew her cover, according to her, and Code erased her memory and fired her, essentially. And then we get a little flashback where we get to see Code number 3 doing that to her, the new boss guy. And she thinks the bad dream is intended to remind her of her time as an agent to relive the death of her comrades, which is pretty heavy stuff, I'd say.
Yeah, it is. I normally for the first couple weeks, I always say I'm shocked with how fast we get into things. At this point, I'm so used to it that the fact we just went hard into, oh yeah, I worked for Code, I was this, blah blah blah. It doesn't even shock me anymore. It's just cool that we get right into it. Like there's no dicking around. It was just, hey, like this is where I came from, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, kind of deal. Here's the entire backstory. Like we don't have to guess, was she Code, was she not Code, how involved was she? We find out all sorts of information as the episode goes on, all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit last week, but yeah, it continues to be really awesome. Where if they set up a cliffhanger or like something you want more information of, the next episode it seems like that's the very first thing that we do.
Yep.
Like we're not gonna wait around. We're gonna give you the thing that you were hoping to find out about, and then we're gonna move on with further mysteries, and that's super cool.
While we're in the beginning still,
Yeah.
Maybe they did it last week too, and I wasn't paying as much attention. But 3 definitely does the intro voiceover. Like the Zero robot voice used to be like, defend your comrades, and did like the robot-y voice for the little intro thing.
For like the mission that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, like the mission for the day. And it was definitely 3's voice doing it now because it sounds angrier and like raspier and grittier.
Yep, he's the new boss. He gets to do the voiceover too, I guess.
And if I didn't notice last week, I definitely noticed this week. They have updated the intro officially, where there's a lot of moments with the lady and stuff in it, interspersed with everything else that we would normally see in the intro.
Oh, I didn't notice that because I think I skipped the intro this week. I think I did the thing I don't normally do and skipped past it.
Yeah, so like there's cool little clips built like, I mean, it's basically the same thing. All the main aspects are still there, but there's a moment where like she's staring out in the garden and like Zeztz walks past and his outfit looks in the window at her, kind of thing. They've go back and watch it later, or watch it next week, I guess is probably smarter. But they definitely updated it for all the new characters and the new situation for the story.
Wait, that sounds cool. Next in the show, we catch up with Nem, who is chasing after Nazca. And basically, she doesn't really get anywhere with her, doesn't catch her, but Nox shows up. And Nox basically is like the Cheshire Cat. He's got a riddle for her. He says, a flower blooms in time, it becomes a butterfly, and a bad dream comes around. And then he kind of like tickles her earring and tells her that it was all brought about by her subconscious mind. Nem takes off the earring, a butterfly flies in front of her face, and then she finds herself transported to the place that we've seen outside of the ladies' area before, where it's like the field and all the butterflies kind of live, and then a nightmare, the one we actually saw last week very briefly, pops up in front of Nem.
So with all this, I think all we can really say is the lady lives rent-free in Nem's head.
It literally seems like that's the case. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Dude, how crazy would that be if you could live in someone's subconscious? It'd be like a whole nother like westward expansion, like a land grab would go on, right? Like,
play
hey,
Atlas, play Atlas Earth in Josh's brain.
Exactly. I've got squatters' rights in this psyche. You got to move on. You got to find someplace else. So this of course is like a crux of this episode, and we talk about it again later, but we'll kind of lump it all together here. Nem sort of like realizes / thinks that what Nox is saying is true, basically, that she's the one who is creating these nightmares from her subconscious mind. She's the cause of all these nightmares. And later in the episode, even she talks about how like I thought I was like helping these people playing this role that I was cast in, but like I'm not making people happy. Like I'm causing them pain. I'm the source of the nightmare. Um, which is like a tragic note for her character. I kind of like that direction, I guess.
Yeah, it's good where, like, at least tied to that, like Baku does the right thing, and he's like, no, you're actually helping, and I guess I give her more of a pass since she is one of the hero characters, but it's not like she's actively mining her subconscious for monsters to go kill people. Like
True.
she's kind of
Yeah.
being like used as the creator, but I don't think like it doesn't seem like it's actively her doing it. So I kind of give her a pass for that. But it is, I think it's like a super good like character growth thing of her being like, am I the cause? Am I the effect? Am I actually just doing more harm? And
Yeah.
Baku did a good job with his whole speech, like you said, of no, like you're helping me stop them. Even if you're making them, you're still doing the better thing. And that's the side I was on as well. Like even if her subconscious is making all the bad stuff, she's still actively working. Like she's still actively helping Baku stop all of it,
Yeah.
even though she's making it too.
It's the same guilt that they put in superhero comics all the time, and it's very frustrating there as well. Where like Spider-Man, for example, will be like, "Oh my god, like that person's death is on my hands because I didn't stop the Rhino 2 days ago. Like when I had a chance, like I didn't stop him, and then he killed someone 2 days later. It's all my fault." And it's like, well, but no, it's the Rhino's fault. To be clear, like you didn't do the thing. You were like a bystander in it happening, and you know are trying to help, but it's not your fault. And I feel like Nem's the same way here. But like you're sort of getting used along the way, so obviously it's not your fault. But I guess I get where the guilt would come from if this was real.
And to your comic thing, I feel like one of the tropes that always goes with that too is more so they do the, oh well, if I never became Spider-Man, all these criminals would never come looking for me, and then none of this would ever happen. And there's always like the what if arcs of what if Batman never became Batman? What if Spider-Man never became Spider-Man? And eventually they learn the lesson, as most people do, of no, it's better that I'm here. I guess I'm still helping, even though I'm also part of the problem.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a net positive on the world. Turns out, yeah. I certainly like that angle with Nem. You know, not that she was a like one note character, but this definitely like prevents her from becoming that. Where like, you know, she's like a fun, happy go lucky person who shows up in every dream, but now she like actually has a little bit more depth to her character and like a different thing she can explore. So yeah, I think that this is an interesting angle to take that character for sure. And
Yep.
like you said, I think Baku's like his reassurement to her was very good. Like I like his speech that he gives at the end here. They also like give him the time to deliver it kind of slowly and meaningfully, which I think is nice too. Let's see. Next up in the show, however, Nazca and Kureha talk a little bit, but don't really get too far. And then Baku wakes up and he heads to the command closet. He encounters Nazca and basically breaks down everything that's been happening for Nazca. He tells her that Kureha is a code agent. He tells her about getting fired by code, having her memory erased. That's why she's living this new life. But obviously is now it's all coming back to her because of the nightmare scenario. Nazca kind of freaks out a little bit. She's like trying to go to Kureha even though she can't really do anything. Fujimi tries to stop her and tells her like, hey, she knew what she was getting into if she signed up to be an agent of code. She can take care of herself. Like you gotta back off. And Baku's like, hey, why don't you just let me handle this?
This is what I've been around for. You know, I know what I'm doing, kind of. I can do it.
The moment where he's like, might you give me permission to handle this problem? I thought was like it was so great. It was a very like Baku moment. Excuse me, miss, if I could just do the common writing and solve this problem, that would be ideal.
You've trusted me until now. I
Yeah.
know it's your friend now, but you can still help me.
We also get a cool moment. The sister gets to speak up and be like, no, trust my brother. He's good at this.
He is a pro. I've seen him. I've been around now. We all know what he can do.
Yep. Baku and Kureha get to talk after this, and he drills down on the cram school that he knows that they both attended. Kureha tells him that Code called it dream learning, and they train children to face nightmares in anticipation of the nightmare threat happening one day. So it sounded like they like knew that nightmares were coming. So then they prepared a bunch of children soldiers is kind of what it is boiling down to.
Yeah, it's much like when Zordon realized that Rita was cracking out of her trash can on the moon, and
Yeah.
instead of starting with instead of looking for teenagers with attitude too late, we're finding lucid dreaming children too early.
That is funny. It is just the plot of Power Rangers. It's like, man, like Zordon was real fucked up for like enlisting these kids in his holy war. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess when you put it that way, that is true. um, I thought it was interesting too. Not only did they, essentially brainwash these kids, and Baku was one of them, but he pieces together now that like that's why he's always dreamed of being a secret agent. That was something that Code implanted into his mind. So he kind of is like, who even am I? Like, what kind of a person am I without this sort of mind control? And that's what kind of he goes down, and then he can kind of commiserate with Nem on that as well, of just like, what at our core are we as people?
Well, like his was, I guess his was interesting. Or obviously he's going to stay, presumably, on the right side of history here. But his is more interesting because, like, his thought was, well, did I actually want to be a secret agent, or did people just tell me I want to be a secret agent, so I want to be a secret agent? And of course, like, he goes back and forth on it, but he seems so gung ho on he loves being a secret agent that I think there was never any real any waiver with him kind of deal. So I think he was always safe. And through all of his ups and downs and how much he wants to be a secret agent, with all this stuff, again, a little bit later with Code and, oh, is Code good, bad, whatever. I am once again stating my guess for the finale, and towards the end, he is absolutely going to be the boss of Code. And it's going to be a nice, happy Code that does good things and doesn't just fuck up people's lives and do things with nightmares. Yeah. I've never been so convinced. He has all the markers for it for weeks and weeks. So I'm going to say it once again because I want to make sure I've said it early enough.
I think I wholly agree with you that is the trajectory here. Yeah.
Like I really can't see, I guess we kind of go off the Baku morality thing, but like with him and the Code thing, like again, like he seems so gung ho on it, and he's very firmly in the camp now of, I don't really care what Code says, but I'm going to keep helping people. That it feels like just the natural climax of that situation is Code turns into a thing that just helps people without all the brainwashy drama gimmicky bullshit on the other side of it.
I think so too. Yeah. I do think that this is an interesting take on the whole like Code brainwashing thing, because I've definitely seen brainwashing in media before, but I've never really seen someone question like the extent to which the brainwashing would have changed them as a person. Like, I think that's really interesting. Like the whole like, well, would I have even been interested in this thing that I'm interested in? Like, it's a core of my personality, but is it real or is it not? Is a cool take on like someone's been fucking with my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kureha obviously asks Baku, why does he continue to be an agent? And he again reiterates that he wants to save the Dreamers. So again, he's really hardline on like, I just want to save people. It's not really
that's
about
what I'm saying. That's why, like, that's why, like, or if Code is no longer a thing, I guess we can word it that way. He will absolutely be some sort of secret agent or secret dream agent, because at this point he has enough people in his little stable where he has 2 police officers that work black cases. His sister knows what's going on. He has magic powers. Nem can be in or out of the coma by the end. I'm sure she'll be out of it, but he has enough of a crew now where, like, if he's just doing good, nice things for people and stopping bad dreams, Code or no Code, he's absolutely running his own agency in such a way.
Yeah, for sure. Might as well just call it Code then at that point. Yeah. Of course, Baku's questioning so many things here. The next thing he does is he goes to see a therapist. And of course, the therapist that he calls is in disguise, the lady who gave him his the card last time around. And this is the weirdest therapy visit that's ever happened. First of all, let's talk about the room they're in, which is
Dude,
like this, like
yes, but she has such a. The one thing I really have to add to that is she has such a good therapist voice. Like
she does, yeah,
her evil lady voice and then her therapist lady voice. Like her therapist lady voice is so like firm but soothing and
yeah.
very like well soft spoken. Like it's amazing. She should be a kick ass therapist minus the brainwashing stuff.
But like because we know that she's also like kind of evil, they do a really good job. Sort of like she's very comforting, but like with kind of a sneer behind it, sort of like not that you'd pick up on necessarily, but like the fact that we know it's like okay, this she's being like too nice and like she's the weird, just the way she's like walking around him and stuff is kind of menacing as well. So it's a fun mix of those two things.
Well, yeah, because
Um,
because obviously they can set up a bunch of things of what she can do to him here, what she can do later, whatever.
yeah,
So they want to keep the seed of is she going to just murder him in the therapist's office going as long as possible.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, again, the therapist office is insane. It's like it's like a mansion. She has these like little alcoves in the room that are just filled with like a single framed like bouquet or something. It's like flowers in a frame, and that's just all that's there. Um, so yeah, it's a very like crazy fancy room that they're in doing their therapy session. But essentially during the session, they get on the topic of Baku's job. She asks him how much of his life his job takes up, and he's like, "Well, if I think back to when I was a kid, it's close to 100."
All of it forever.
So then she's like, "Oh, I think that's probably a negative thing. Maybe you should like explore those feelings." um, and then she's kind of standing next to him and sort of like waves her hand and tells him that his life belongs to him. And we find out later when she talks to Knox in private that she was trying to control his mind, but she wasn't able to. He resisted or something.
He's too
So
smart or he's too dumb. It's the only way brain control doesn't work.
exactly, yeah. So I think like she gets a little bit of respect for him that he was able to like resist her control, whether he knew he was doing it or not. But yeah, she's trying to plant the seeds and trying to get her hooks in him with all this stuff for sure. Um, yeah, she wants to. She talks about wanting to like drag the dreams of Code out of him.
Yeah.
Back home, Baku is kind of sitting in the dark again. He's struggling. He's doing some mental health issues he's going through here. His sister walks in, of course, gives him a little pep talk, tells him that she believes in him, knows he'll be able to help Kureha. He falls asleep, goes back into the dream world. He runs into Nem. They together have a little bit of the crisis about, who am I, what's going on. Nem tells him about the whole "I create the monsters" thing, and they have that scene that we talked about before. Baku tells her to not put herself in danger, tells her that she makes people happy, obviously, and then they'll work together. And then we cut back to Nazca and Kureha, and they're gonna fight the nightmare together. And again, this is
Fight or
this.
die.
It was fight or die. Again, Kureha with the gun is so funny in this scene because like she kind of squares up like she's ready to like fight like in a fighting game, but she just has a gun. So it's like a fighting game character who uses a gun. It looks so out of place in the scene that she's like ready to do martial arts and then just whips out the gun. It's so funny.
I thought it was just as good as Scully wearing knee pads and having an aluminum bat for her fit to go fight the monster.
It's great. This whole scene's very funny, very good, and yeah, we get our fight on. Obviously, they're not defeating the monster. they're just two regular humans. So Baku shows up just in time. And Nox also is there, and Nox is like right off the bat, like, oh, why are you still here, man? Like, what are you doing? Why are you still serving Code? And Baku tells him that, hey, I don't know what parts of Code are good and what are bad. All I know is that I want to help people. So again, you're hitting the nail on the head. Like he's sort of like casting off anything about Code, and his only goal is protecting people. Baku henshins. He uses the plasma form, fights the nightmare. He eventually defeats the nightmare, completes the mission, Everyone is happy. Um, the lady and Nox have a little discussion afterwards, and the lady wonders why Nox didn't finish Kureha off. Um, and he basically gives kind of a wishy-washy answer on her and on Baku. She asks if he feels like a kinship with Baku, since he could have stopped him at any point. And basically, Nox kind of says like, well, if he sides directly with Code, or if she sides directly with Code, then it's different, right? Then we're enemies. But as of right now, he's towing the line. Kind of is what Nox is saying.
Yeah, and as we've said for a while now, as why like Nox has never killed him all these times, and this time more than ever, it like I know she kind of like pointed out for us just in case it wasn't obvious enough, but like the lady saying, "I see you holding back every time you see him," is making it like obviously more obvious that when you really think about it, every time they're together, like Nox is no longer even actively doing anything to him really, other than
Yeah,
trying to keep him in a fight, but not like letting him die. Or even this week, like obviously when he snuck up on Nem, he could have beat up, did whatever to Nem, and was just kind of like, no, like you're kind of part of this, just so you know, but I'll be back. And
yeah. Yeah, he's very much just a shit stirrer lately, and he's not really like actively trying to hurt the main characters, but he'll show up and he'll have some like snide remarks, right? Like he will tease Nem about the fact that she's creating these nightmares, and he will goad Baku about continuing to serve Code, but he's not really gonna like raise a finger to them very much anymore. It doesn't seem like, at least as
yeah,
of right now,
he's
which
he
is
keep
great.
holding. Yeah, like he's tired of. He really just seems tired of everybody.
He
Like he's just
does.
kind of there. He doesn't really like. He doesn't like the lady that much. She's just kind of helping him on his end game ish. He doesn't really like Baku that much, but he's not really stopping Baku from doing Baku things. Like he's just kind of there, just kind of tired of everybody's shit.
Yeah. There's a moment in this where the lady is saying something kind of evil about Baku, and Nox is like walking down the stairs as she's talking, and he just like side eyes her like, I can't believe this woman that I have to deal with. Like he just has this look of disdain on his face, which is great. I really, really like their very uneasy dynamic that they have together. Back in the real world, now that the nightmare has been defeated, Baku is with Nazca and Fujimi. They're at the high school, and Kureha is also there and speaks with Nazca, gives her, in fact, her camera that has everything regarding the black case that she had been investigating. So she kind of hands the camera over and then starts to leave, basically says like, all right, I'm out. Here's my evidence. I'm turning it over to the police. And Nazca says, you're just going to leave me again. And Kureha says she just remembered what she has to do, what it is that she has to do. So Kureha is on a mission. We find out, of course, at the end of this episode what that mission is, or sort of, I guess, because Kureha shows up in a parking garage speaking with Code Number 3, the new big boss. 3 tells her that he never expected Baku to convince her to return to the job. And Kureha says, like, hey, I just remembered everything, so I don't have a choice. 3 tells her that Code can't ensure her safety, but if she wants to, contribute to the cause, he has a mission for her, and he hands her a briefcase. She opens the briefcase, Toby, and reveals a brand new driver that we've never seen before. That looks sick. It's like red and has like pistons on it or something. It's going to be very cool to see. And then we find out that she is Code Number 6, so the number that comes right before Baku's 7.
And as we guessed, she probably had to be a 5 or a 6 or a higher number because of timing and 3
Yeah,
being the boss and everything. So kind of an easy guess, but we were correct on that one.
certainly. I like this ending bit here. I like the arc that Nazca goes through. Like she hits Fujimi a couple times here, I think, which are very cute moments between the two of them. But I like seeing a bit of humanity in Nazca, first of all. And then I like the very ending with Kureha because it's very like open to interpretation, right? Like, is she good? Is she bad? Like, what's her play here in all of this? She's obviously like signing back up with Code, but maybe it's to like take him down or what? Who knows, right? Like, obviously there's a lot of question marks still, and that's very fun.
Yeah, is she 3 coded, or is she 7 coded, or 4 coded, or which X coder is she the most
Yeah.
relating to right now?
Yeah, because there's a lot of allegiances that you can find here. There's two sides, but like three or four different various allegiances you can do within those sides. So yeah, I'm really interested to find that out. And now I'm very excited to see her henshin now that I know she actually 100% is going to be doing that. Because yeah, her driver looks sick. Again, it's across the chest again, but like very different design than what we've seen so far. And yeah, that brings us to the end of the episode. So how'd you feel about this one overall?
Another super solid one. We're about to finally see our tertiary rider. That was
Yeah,
really none of the people we originally thought, but I guess we'll accept an actual another Zeztz Lake if she's going to be an actual code person. I guess that gets us into phase 2 of all the capsims if we're going to put new toys out, so that works, and then we go
hadn't
from
even thought
there.
of that. Yeah. Her introduction here, I think, is on the level of like Rakia's introduction in Gotchard, where it's like, you're kind of introducing a character to become the new writer, someone who wasn't there the whole show. But I think it's just as has been just as successful as his, where like she's a really interesting character. I think they'll have a lot of like stuff to explore with her along the way, and she initially is just very cool. It's very similar to how Rocket is. Like, they just have like an air about them that I think works really well for a third writer.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Let's switch over to emails to cover this episode a little bit further. Cast at commonwritersucks.com is the email address if you want to send us in emails. It'll most likely get read on the show. Once again, that is cast at commonwritersucks.com. Our email this week comes in from our friend Shade, and Shade has some information for us initially from case file number 19. As I wait for the email to fully load, there we go. And first off, the blog shows off. We talked about it last time, but the nightmare for the death game in the high school had like a crazy face that rotated along the way. So we get a good shot of all the faces. There's the arrow pointing down face, the arrow pointing up face, and then this episode, as we saw, he takes the whole face off and reveals a skeleton underneath, which is especially cool. So there's a great shot where he has the face off, and he has Kureha around the neck, and she's just holding the gun in front of her still, which is very good. Shade says, small fun fact about this scene. So it's the scene where Baku brings up playing cards in front of the nightmare to kind of like rip through them before doing the big giant Inazuma slash at the end and defeating the monster. Shade says this wasn't in the blog itself, but Zetz's finisher in the scene is an obvious reference to Kamen Rider Blade King's form's finisher, Royal Straight Flush. Similar to how it looks in this scene, Blade's Royal Straight Flush has him summoning 5 cards, specifically the Royal Straight Flush, walking through them, and then delivering a big slash with his sword. So that's cool as a callback to a past series.
Yep.
They show off Kureha's outfit as Agent Code Number 6. And then there's some behind the scenes shots of course, people being happy and being hot while they're filming, having to put umbrellas over them and stuff like that. There's also a great shot of the action director instructing Kureha on how best to handle a gun. So he's like pointing a fake gun with an iPad around his neck. It's pretty good stuff. Shade says there's a lot of trivia this week, mostly recaps there wasn't a lot of trivia this week, mostly recaps and photos. And then Shade goes on to say other tidbits for the week. We have some more updates on the new Kamen Rider movie project. We have less than 18 hours on the timer. I don't know what time you guys are recording this. The countdown might already be done by then, but I cannot time travel, so I'll be working from the news from the previous week. um, let's see. Let me see if the countdown is finished. If I can
I,
find that website again.
I feel like we were close-ish last week.
Yeah, right. All right, so here it is. We have 53 more minutes to go. So, yeah, it won't be by the end of this episode, but very soon after we'll know. So let's go ahead and read an email with completely outdated information by the time this episode comes out. Shade says they made a super roundabout plan of making a bunch of Kamen Rider movies and titles for people to guess which one is true. They're back again, and this time they've invited previous supporting actors to tease their series' movie title. So, like, they brought in actors to basically pretend that the made-up movie is real to let you guess, like, which one is actually real.
Yeah.
Shade says, last time I said I was 90% sure of what they're really working on, and you might be wondering why specifically 90%. At this point, why isn't 100? Well, that's because there are set leaks out there already revealed of what they're working on, but what I don't understand is this bit they're doing and why they're committing to it this much. Quite a few of these series are actually celebrating their anniversary, whether it's this year, last year, or next year. So seeing that they're actually bringing back the actors to promote the fact that there may or may not be an anniversary film for their series is such a crazy thing to do. Mind you, we haven't seen some of these guys in Kamen Rider in over a decade. It's nuts. Maybe I'm just overthinking this and it's just a clever, bizarre marketing ploy, but like, what the heck are they doing over there? If they're really inviting them back for just a bit, it'll either be the meanest prank or the funnest prank ever. There's no in between. How do you feel about this?
Hey, whatever gets the people going, I guess is what we gotta do.
I kind of hope that like the answer is all of the actors they brought back are in the movie that they're making. It's not the made up movie. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I hope that like they're actually like involved somehow. Cause I agree. It is weird to be like, hey, we really liked you in Kabuto. Will you come and pretend like there's a Kabuto movie coming out soon? We're like, oh, sick. I'm really excited to be a part of that. No. There is no movie.
Yeah,
You're just
there's a lot of
pretending.
layers. Yeah, there's like a lot of bonus layers to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Would be the But I mean, I guess one weird thing too, where like if you are super into like the toku verse, I guess we'll call it, like we know everyone, like once you're in it, it's like fraternity where like you're there forever no matter what. Like you're locked in. So I can see, even if it was fake, like even if they're like it's a fake movie, it's not a real thing, but we want you to come pretend to mess with people. I can see that still being like an honor thing of, oh, you want me to come back to do something or pretend to do something? Sure. Like, I owe
Yeah.
you guys. This is fun. I don't care. Yes, you asked me, so I'm just going to do it because you asked me, kind of deal. So I guess it's kind of hard to judge.
I'm sure that's like actually the real answer is like, oh yeah, like I'd love to come back. Like that was a fun time. I enjoyed being that character, and I'll always come back for that stuff. Um, but yeah, it is funny. It also could be like very subtle gauging interest in some of these movies. Like, hey, we weren't planning on making another
Who get,
build movie, but if people are really into this one, like, hey, maybe we will, right? Like, it could be that.
whoever gets the most drama or votes or comments, like, oh my God, I want this one because I miss X-Aid, to use the one I distinctly remember. Like maybe they see like, oh wow, most people said I miss X8. It's anniversary year. Hey, we should do something with this, and that's the nudge they need to be like, hey, surprise, the X8 movie's coming out. And then they just have to make it real quick.
Yeah, we got to get on that. Yeah. Let's see. Shade next up tells us about remember a couple weeks ago we talked about the brand new female Kamen Rider that's going to appear in a TTFC crossover special. Well, the special came out and she looks magnificent. And then links her henshin and some images of her. Says she even has a bike, and coincidentally, she debuted exactly on Shotaro Ishinomori, the creator of Kamen Rider's birthday. And she does look great. I think her name was Ein, if I remember correctly. Eins, Einz is her name. The henshin that I'm looking at here, she does it while wearing a Wisconsin University shirt, which is very funny. Anytime that there's like, you know, just American words on a Kamen Rider t-shirt is very good. So yeah, apparently a graduate of Wisconsin University and now a new Kamen Rider. There we go.
There you go.
But yeah, it looks very good and it looks like a mainline show, honestly. Like it doesn't look like a cheap version of Kamen Rider or anything like that. Shade says, like I've covered last time, the actress is the daughter of Hiroshi Fujioka, the original Kamen Rider's actor. Coolest case of nepotism I've ever seen. He taught her how to henshin and everything. There's a picture of them working out how to henshin together. And then Shade says, fun fact with Kamen Rider Ein's debut, 2 of Hiroshi Fujioka's kids are now Kamen Riders. His son previously played a younger version of the OG Kamen Rider in Kamen Rider's 50th anniversary film, Kamen Rider Beyond Generations. He would later play the main lead in the live-action adaptation of the tokusatsu-inspired manga Wingman. Shade says Wingman's pretty good and highly suggests checking it out. Then finally, I'd like to shout out another indie toku project. I recently came across this on Twitter. It's called Avalon Knights of the Round Table. The series was created by a bunch of tokusatsu-loving foreign actors who live in Japan. Tom Constantine, you might know him as the white guy who played one of Neon's bodyguards in Kamen Rider Geats. He's working on the series as an action director. So yeah, check out the show to support them. That's cool. Yeah. I've been wondering.
He's in the bloodline now. Or in the bloodstream.
Is, yeah. I was just wondering just the other day, like what he was up to recently. Now that, obviously he's not in Geats anymore, and it's been a couple years. I was wondering what he was doing these days. And yeah, there you go. I guess he's directing action in a new indie toku. So cool stuff there. And then finally, Shade says, all right, that's all we have for the week. Next week, we'll finally cover what the movie department has been planning. Can't wait for that. Have a nice day, everyone. So thanks very much for the email, Shade. Once again, cast@kamenwritersucks.com is where you send those emails if you would like to do so. Toby, we also have a Patreon that we should probably talk about. Our Patreon, if I do say so myself, is pretty awesome.
It's full of a lot of stuff.
It's chock full, I will even say. It is a cornucopia of content. For $3 a month, that gets you access to both our Discord and all the bonus content that we have ever posted and continue to post. Usually we put up a couple pieces a week. Most of it is watching through tokusatsu shows that we don't talk about here on the main podcast. Right now we're watching through Dawn Brothers and Gozyuger. Obviously Gozyuger is finishing up pretty soon, so we'll be picking another show to start in on. But it's a lot of fun. If you like the nonsense we get up to here, there's way more of it over on the Patreon, and we would love to have you. You can find that at patreon.com/thecommentwriters. And with that, Toby, I think that brings us to the end of our episode. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you on the internet?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes, and on YouTube, it's Tobes Plays.
For me, I'm on Blue Sky at meek.lol. The show also is on Blue Sky at kamenwritersucks.com. So give those a follow. And again, do check out the Patreon, patreon.com/thecommentwriters. So that wraps us up this time. We'll be back next time to talk about Kureha some more, see if she actually henshins, and figure out what is going on with Code and Nox and the lady. And we do hope you join us back for that, but we hope in the meantime you have a great week. Peace, everybody.